Okay. So, I wanted to kind of just do an unscripted chit-chat about Stygian Onslaught, because at its core, this is a very interesting game mode with a lot of potential, and it's new endgame, right? So, this is cool. I like this. I like this as a concept, but I hear a lot of opinions on it. Like, there's a lot of opinions I've been hearing about this, and a lot of people don't like it. Some people do. But they seem that the majority of people talking about it seem to be pretty against it right now, and I think I want to break down why. You log into this thing for the first time, and then you start with normal, advancing, and hard difficulties. Normal is a joke. We tried normal as just to see how easy it is, and yeah, it took me 25 seconds. I ended up skipping advancing because I don't think it was going to be any different, and most people were telling me it was also really easy. Hard was actually a game mode. I felt like I actually had, it was still super easy. And I don't think I've heard of anyone having major issue with hard mode. I don't think. I'm sure there are people, and that I feel like that just kind of corrects itself with time. I like it, honestly, I do, but I feel like it needs polish. The tightness of the timers are a little rough to try, and have fun with the weapon skins. Granted, they're temporary, but hey, that's a whole different matter. We're going to get into that. So Gimliana says, number one, why start with 0 energy? Why so locked up on certain lineups? Why not make the limited weapon skins permanent? Why do people need to earn them again and again? Why lock feathers behind Fearless, which is hard even for dolphins? We're going to get into it. First three are pretty easy if you have decently invested characters. Hard was Abyss Floor 11 easy. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm behind on the Archon Question Exploration. I only need events and weekends. It's the only thing that makes me log in daily. Damn. Hard allowing you to reuse teams makes it doable for most casual players. I think yeah, that's a good point. And it's co-op friendly, so that helps a lot. And then you get menacing. And apparently this is doable in co-op. If we go down to the menacing, yep, you can call in your friends for this. You can call up your homie and be all man, I really want to get this feather, but it's too hard. Can you help me out? And that gets you a feather. And then the second feather is from Fearless. And then finally the third feather is going to be from doing the artifacts. Which is... we'll talk about this a little later, but we'll talk about the rewards in a bit more detail later. Actually, no, we're going to talk about it now. We'll talk about the rewards now. But... yeah, so the reward structure, I think, is mostly okay, because, 1, 2, and 3, super easy. That's where the primos are. This is easy. This is fun. This is probably exactly where it should be. And if you notice, actually, the rewards, the moral rewards and stuff here, are actually quite high. That's actually not bad for what it is, as, a little extra little bonus. That's pretty good. We take those. Difficulty 4 is doable in co-op. You can call in your homies for backup, which is good. And Menacing was, decently challenging. I think it was fair. I don't think Menacing was insane. But, it was... I imagine a lot of players could have some trouble with this. Yeah, 500k is worth it. Decent net pass. Yeah, 450 primos is, okay. I don't know what the correct amount of primos is for this. Maybe you try to line it up better with, the Abyss, closer to 800. And I think people would feel a little better about it, but... this is fine. You can do all of it in co-op. Untrue, you cannot do difficulty 5 in co-op and get rewards. Fearless or higher on single player. You have to solo difficulty 5. I'm one of the ones struggling with Menacing. I got 1 of the 3 of them done. Well, hey. Ooh, that could be content. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about after we're done recording this bit. But, yeah. I might have an idea for you. For people who have their reputations complete, the 500k is an okay replacement. Yeah! Honestly, this is not bad. The reward structure up to this point is fine. But then we get into difficulty 5, Fearless, where I feel like You don't... Well, if you can get this easily, you don't need this feather. This feather should probably be down here. And this should be replaced with something else. Because, honestly, like, this is a really good incentive to, like, really get your characters cooked and make good builds and stuff. But there's problems with that. And we'll get to that really soon, but the biggest issue is that, like, you just, like... You need so many good artifacts and good characters to get this one done, realistically, that it almost feels kind of moot. Like, it seems kind of overkill. But it's just... It doesn't feel quite right there. Maybe you have this be, like, a separate award somehow. And hey, Freakification, what's up? Welcome to the stream, welcome home. You make it a separate award, you put it on a different difficulty, but the feather doesn't feel right here, considering how hard difficulty 5 is. Like, considering the requirements for it. Because the other issue with especially difficulty 5 is the lineup. Let's talk about these. Every one of these bosses, and this is true unfortunately for, I think, for a lot of open world bosses in Genshin, is that they really want you to use certain elements and whatnot, but these newer bosses, like, say, the Lava Dragon and the Secret Source Automaton, they want you to use very specific characters. Very specific teams. And if you don't have those, I think you have a problem. It's definitely too much. I'm pretty sure the difficulty is near impossible with C0 characters unless you have the best artifacts possible. No, I will argue with you on that. For Fearless, you don't need cons. You just don't. Like, well, like, let's go into it. You wanna know, if you look at here, the only character that of mine that has all my significant amount of cons are in the first team. I have a C1 Kanich, but guess what? I didn't do this with Kanich. This was just for science. Ayaka has C1 and an R3 Mistsplitter. We'll talk about it. And this one, I have other characters I could have done this with. Oh, Dire? Oh, yes, absolutely. Dire. I've heard there's people saying that you can do it with C0s, but, like, it's kind of gross. So, if you go into Fearless mode and you just don't have that power overwhelming, or you don't have the right characters, like, it's so much harder than it needs to be. Like, if you don't have, like, this kind of team right down here for the dragon statue, it's rough. Now, granted, here's the thing, this guy has alternatives. You can do it with C6 5 stars and C0 5 stars and C6 4 stars. I've seen a 3 C0 Dire clears. Sure. But do they show their artifacts, their stats? The teams themselves, are they not, like, just the most meta, bog standard teams? I used Arlecchino, Zhongling, and Chevreuse and Yai. Yeah, so, like, if we talk about this, Tulpa, you can't use Hydro characters. They're just off the table. Hydro's not on the menu anymore. And Cryo is okay, but it's more as a supporting role than a DPS role here. In most cases, but you probably can just roll up with a Cryo DPS and it'd probably be okay. So, like, there's options for the Tulpa, but, like, having an element eliminated right off the rip is kind of awkward, but it's not the end of the world. A lot of bosses would have that. So that's not unusual, I think that's fine. Now, the Dragon Statue eliminates 2 elements, effectively. Now, there is a workaround for this. There is a workaround for this, technically. You could just use, like, a burning package, and then your last slot's like a Cryo or a Hydro DPS just to do damage during that, like, damage window that he has. Which is good that you can do that, but it's awkward, right? It's always going to be awkward. But they picked a boss with mechanics that say, hey, I really hope you have a burning package ready to go. You can do Overload, though. I will know. Overload works. Overload isn't too bad on this guy, actually. We could probably... I'd pretty confidently say that if we tried to, we could probably do it with Overload pretty convincingly. So, again, there's options on this one, but it's a little tighter. But then there's this one, which says Cryo has an advantage, and there's no elements that have a disadvantage, so that means you must be able to do anything, right? Wrong. You can't do anything here. It's Cryo or bust. Maybe you can bring a Hydro character if you're lucky. Right? Maybe. Maybe you can do a Hydro character. Cough, cough, maybe you can bring your, Furina in there. But I couldn't even bring my Furina. Because I didn't have enough Cryo application. I couldn't keep his shield down during his, phase where he's doing, the water spray and you have to do Cryo damage to make him vulnerable. Hell no. So I put Ganyu in. And this is what did it. Because guess what? I don't have Skirk. I don't have Wriothesley. They're probably the only two characters that can do this. With any consistency. Ayako's rough. And to people in my chat right now, a lot of them were here while we were doing this, when we got this finally. It was a nightmare. C6 Layla works too. I don't even have C6 Layla, but I imagine that would probably help. It's an option. Skirk and Wriothesley with a Safia are probably required, yeah. I don't see how you do this without Esco. Ayaka was the secret sauce. No, Ganyu was! Ganyu was the secret sauce. So, this boss is literally saying, did you roll for the newest character? No? Well, get out. Did you roll for the banner characters? Well, you're gonna have a bad time. Do you have the best DPS in the game, theoretically? No? Well, shit, you're gonna have a bad time. I hope you have something better. The Skirk and Asafier check over DPS check. Yeah. But the boss selection is just horrific. I don't think the stats are the problem here. It is just the friggin'... The bosses basically are so specific and require these very specific characters or team comps. And if you don't have them, you're gonna have a bad time. This is, horrific for most people. I don't think HP inflation's even the problem. So, personally, on a personal level, baseline, we're just talking about the tangible rewards, which is difficulty 1 through 5, which gets you the feathers, the Mora, the XP books, and more importantly, the Primo Gems. All of that is, the reward structure is good, with the exception of difficulty 5. At least at its current difficulty. So, that stuff is fine. The problem I have is the boss lineup. The boss lineup makes this so you have to be so specific. And if you're not exactly using the newest and hottest characters that are on, this current banner, you're screwed. You're gonna get your ass kicked, and it's really difficult for no reason. Because, oh, I didn't have Skirk, so this stupid refrigerator son of a bitch is just gonna kick my ass and have its way with me. The last two things we want to talk about, A, is this Exalted One's mechanic. This is funny. I actually don't hate this, but it's really funny because this is literally, well, this is the meta. This is literally showing you what other players are doing. This is the meta. Chat, say hello to the meta. If you're not doing this, it's going to be difficult. There is a little bit of room for deviation here and there. Some areas worse than others, Nahida and Emily. I feel like they're meant to be interchangeable with each other. But yeah, that's Skirkum of Week. Look at that. Hello, meta. Y'all having fun with the last two difficulties? My team can't even look at the last two. Yep. That's Raton Traveler's meta. I've been saying that for a while. Traveler, okay, Pyro Traveler has stonks. He's good. Welcome to the Traveler meta. So this mechanic is funny, and I think is actually kind of okay, but it feels weird, right? It almost feels like, shouldn't we be giving this buff to characters that are struggling to do it, not ones that can already do it? It feels weird, but I guess it's kind of well, if you can't do it, but you have the good characters and you're just almost there, this is the gap closer potentially, but man, it feels kind of off, right? It's win more, right? It's kind of win more. But yeah, so here's the other thing I want to talk about. Last thing I want to get off my chest on this thing. I think dire mode is fine. On principle. I think dire mode is fine on principle. Again, the problem is the boss lineup, not really the bosses, not really the mechanics itself. On principle, this crazy high health whale check is fine. Whales deserve to have content too, right? They basically fund this game. They're bankrolling Hoyo. So, give the whales some content, specifically for them. That's fine. Because the rewards for doing it are cosmetic. And that's fine. Granted, I will say that I think there's a better way of doing this. I think the 5-star skin... Hey, these look beautiful, by the way. These look absolutely gorgeous. I think this is fine. You know, beat it within a time limit. But I think, for the 4-star variants, for those, like... I think you just ease up on the timer, man. Make it, like... Give them, like, a really long time, so, like, in theory, more people could get the 4-star version. And I don't mean just be able to try. I mean, like, you have to kill the bosses. Make it so, like, you kill the bosses. You have to pull it off still. But, you know, like, why is there a time limit for that? Right? And the cosmetics are temporary, which is its own problem. It means you have to re-earn them every single patch, which... It's content. It's a reason to do dire mode again. I think I'd rather prefer to see them do it like... And someone made the suggestion already. I'd like to see them do it like a battle pass. The battle pass weapons where... So, oh, you unlocked... You did it. You're a crazy turbo whale. You unlocked the 5-star skin. Pick one. Do you want... Which elemental weapon do you want? Do you want the Pyro Claymore? Do you want the Dendro Catalyst? Like, you pick one of these. So every time you complete the Dire Mode challenge, each patch, you get a new one permanently. I think that would... Something like that would be, like, fine. Like, that would be okay. But, again, that's something I'll leave to you guys if you agree with me or not. So I don't care that whales got a mode to flex their money and get temporary rewards. It doesn't change gameplay for anyone. Exactly! No, that's my point exactly. This is fine. I wish this, specifically the 4-star one, was a little bit more accessible. For, like, the dolphins and the goldfishes of the world. Or even the free-to-plays that have been playing out of their mind for 5 years. I think the funniest thing of all is that if a whale C6'd an off-meta character, they're still cooked in this game mode. No, it's true. We C6'd, Chiori, and I can't even do the boss in the time limit that, like, I use Chiori on. Like, it's not good enough. It's crazy. Hear me out. Share a 7-minute timer. That way you can clear one under 2 minutes. You get rewarded for it. I'd maybe say even 10 minutes between all the bosses. That'd be fine. It means you can use your time a little bit more wisely. That would work. But yeah, that's how they keep them in dire mode, is with temporary skins. No, for sure. That's why I'd say I think there's a better way of doing it, where you just let the whale, you only get one. You pick an element, you pick a weapon type. You like the Dendro Bow, the Animo Sword, like you pick exactly one to become permanent. That means you have to do dire mode a lot of times before you have all of them. So that would be a method of doing it, in my opinion. They want the whales to re-up and keep up with the meta. They don't want an ex-whale flexing 2 years later. See, that seems petty to me, but I get the business side of it. Like, I understand they're a company. They want to make money. They gotta make money. If they're not making bank, they're not, like... You know, they gotta keep the money coming in so they can keep, you know, running. I get it. I get it! I don't love it, but I get it. We real the 4 stars better than the 5 stars? That's debatable. These ones are more... The 4 stars are more subdued. Depends on if you like glowy bits or not. Anyone who's clearing dire mode easily is not going to care about the temporary rewards. No, because they know A, they're going to be able to do it next time without any issue. And B, well, they're already locked in. They don't give two shits. 3 years. There you go, see? My strategy is perfect then. It fits the exact thing that I'm talking about, that you guys are worried about. It's perfect. 52 weeks is a year. Yeah, but a patch is 6 weeks. And these are going to be rotating every patch, so... Let me summarize. To summarize everything, I like the game mode. I think in concept, fighting big, beefy bosses with some advanced mechanics thrown in, and some little tweaks and moveset changes, is a very cool and very good idea. I think the fact that most of it is doable in co-op if you need help is very good. Fearless mode is the only thing I have an issue with for its reward structure. I think the feather is misplaced there. I think it should be put somewhere else, and something should take the feather's place. The Primo Gem amount, your mileage will vary. Primo Gems are Primo Gems. No amount is enough, so it is what it is. I'm not going to get into that. Dire mode, in principle, is good. Dire mode is actually quite a good idea. The whales deserve something to have, too. I think they should make the 4-star version a little bit more accessible. Make it so you have a 10-minute time limit on the bosses, and you have to actually kill them to get the reward. That would be an option. And I think for some of those bosses, you can't just slow roll them. You have to, play the mechanics and have some good builds to be able to pull it off. And finally, the last thing to say is that the boss lineup is absolutely horrific. The boss lineup is the worst part about this. They're way too specific, and if you don't have the correct characters, you're kind of screwed. It's really bad. Most of this mode is okay. I think there's a really good idea here. If they keep tweaking it, if they keep tweaking it, kind of like they did with the theater on the theater's release, where they're changing numbers, they're adding more mechanics to it, they're adjusting things to make it more interesting, adding in extra shit, I think this game mode's going to be really good. But, man, they really, really need to balance this shit. The boss selection, like I said, is horrific. Going into this Secret Source Automaton fight without Skirk or Risley and having to do it with Ayaka was a nightmare, and it was really bad. And that was with an R3 Mistsplitter and a C1 Ayaka, and it was still proving to be, impossibly difficult. That's insane. And the other two weren't as bad, but they had their own similar, bring the correct team comp or be destroyed, and that didn't feel good. So, for the YouTube side of things, I want to say thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for the Twitch chat for interacting and giving their suggestions and their thoughts as well. And chat, say hi to YouTube. Say hi to YouTube. And I'll catch up on the chat in a second. Bye YouTube, hi YouTube, close enough. Anyway, so leave your grievances down in the comments below. Tell me what you think of this game mode. Did you have a hard time with it? Did you breeze through Dire mode like it was nothing? Do you have your cool-ass weapons skin and you're just looking at all the peasants now? Or are you like me and just thought wow, this is a really cool game mode, but my god, I don't have a cryo character, so I hate it. So, tell all of that. Share it down in the comments below. I want to hear your stories and what you think about this, because this is a permanent thing. We're stuck with this now. And I think getting more opinions public and more eyes on stuff and people talking about it will hopefully lead to us getting a better game mode overall. So, as always, cheers. That's it from me. Take care. Thanks for watching.